Your move.
What is going on, you guys? Bashtian here, and today we're gonna be doing a before you buy video. Now I know you guys are huge fans of these types of videos. I know you guys loved them in the past. We'll continue to love them in the future, so I'm here to keep that up for you guys. So if you guys are new to the channel, welcome. Make sure to like and subscribe to the channel. But essentially, what a before you buy video is, I go over some of the pros and cons of each of the upcoming decks in brand new sets coming out, such as Spright, such as Tier Elements. So Tier Elements will be a different video, but today we're going to be covering the Spright archetype. Alright guys, get your knockoff Sprites ready, the HEB brand, Texas brand, and we are good to go, because this is just a huge conspiracy waiting to happen. I mean, this is basically a lawsuit from Coca-Cola waiting to happen, but that's neither here nor there. I'll let Konami handle that on their back ends. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get right into it, guys. 3 pros, 3 cons of the Spright archetype. So start off with the pros. First things first, the deck right here is going to be extremely consistent. I know that's not a surprise. I know it's not a surprise, but as long as you have any 2 level 2 monsters that you can get on your field, no matter how you do it, this deck goes full combo. It's absolutely just insane, where you can do it through a actually very accurately named card for the Spright archetype called Spright Starter, which in its name is exactly what it does. It starts the entire engine. You special summon a Spright monster from your deck. Yeah, you take a little bit of damage for doing it, but it's completely irrelevant in the overall state of the game, because just by that one starter coming out, most likely than not, it's going to be Spright Blue, which is going to be your main searcher for the deck. You're going to be have access to your entire board, full combo, everything like that. But not only that, guys, I mean, there's so many other level 2, rank 2, link 2 engines that we can go ahead and play off with as well, which is absolutely just amazing that we're able to go ahead and abuse all of these all together. You can use cards like Deep Sea Diva, you can use cards like Nimble Weaver, you can use cards like this other card that I forget the name of, but I will put right here so you guys can go ahead and have it for yourselves. I gotta do more research before I actually start making these videos, but nonetheless, so all these are gonna be absolutely fantastic. Also, do not forget that Cyframe Gamma is a psychic monster, level 2, and Emergency Teleport is a 3-up, so that's another level 2 monster you can go ahead and get from your deck to the field for free. Also, this deck can play around a lot of hand traps, but we're going to go ahead and get around that in just a little bit. So, pro number 2 for the Sprites, it can play around a million hand traps. So, first things first, plays around Drone Lockbird and Nibiru. How does it do these things? Probably the most powerful hand traps in the game. Essentially, Drone Lockbird, you can play around it by activating your Spright Starter, I should say, Spright Starter, Emergency Teleport, all that nonsense during the draw phase. So what you can do is, because Drone Lockbird, you can only activate if your opponent is going to activate something outside of the draw phase, but you can chain because they're quick play spells to your draw phase, which plays around Drone Lockbird extremely easily. Then you play around Nibiru, not by the sheer amount of summons, because this deck actually has an archetype out to Nibiru, which is absolutely insane. If you guys have not heard, Gigantic Sprite is going to be the rank 2 XCs coming with the deck, but it's going to be an ultra rare in the Power of the Elements set. But this card is absolutely ridiculous. The first line literally reads, once per turn you can go ahead and activate this effect. It's not even a cost. So you can activate this effect, which means now yourself or your opponent can summon anything that is not linked to level 2 or rank 2 for the rest of the turn, which again, you're going to be perfectly fine doing so. And then you get to go ahead and special summon a level 2 monster from your deck, which is ridiculous. You go ahead and summon out Swap Frog that way, which is another engine you can go ahead and use. And you can go ahead and just go about your play as far as that goes without having to fear Nibiru whatsoever. Absolutely insane. You don't even need to play them as a target for Crossout Designator if you are going to be playing that build. There's a few ways you can go ahead and actually play Sprites. You can play the more gaslit version of it, which is the version I'm going to be playing personally, and then you can play the more conservative route, which is going to be Crossout Designator, a lot of hand trap heavy deck. But either way, it's still going to be one of those powerful decks. As far as which way it's going to be superior, honestly, I cannot tell you that just now, but we'll just have to wait and see for when the set actually drops on August 4th. Time for pro number 3, guys, is you're going to have to call the police for this one, for the amount of total abuse that Totally Awesome is going to be receiving from this deck. You can go ahead and summon it multiple times throughout the duel. Easy peasy. Go ahead and summon it back through the power of Spright Elf. Spright Elf is going to be the link to in archetype. Monster Reborn, quick play Monster Reborn that you're going to be having is absolutely insane. So each and every turn, once per turn, go ahead and special summon a level 2 monster from your graveyard. But if your opponent controls a monster, you actually go ahead and bring back a rank 2, I believe link 2 as well, which is absolutely, you don't need to worry about the link 2s, but you can go ahead and special summon Totally Awesome after you've used his effect to activate Totally Awesome again to negate another of your opponent's board. So the very worst case scenario, you're ending up with 2 negations on your opponent's turn, plus whatever hand traps you have in your hand, plus whatever other forms of interruption you may have, which again the deck has in archetype spell and trap negations from the main deck. So even if you get Artifact Scythe, which will still hurt, don't get me wrong, it will hurt, but if you get Artifact Scythe, you can still potentially have a potential play. So there is a way to get around it, depends what you have in your hand. But this deck is extremely resilient, insanely consistent, can play around multiple hand traps with the greatest of ease, and can just verbally, physically, everything emotionally abuse Totally Awesome to the greatest extent. So can't wait for that card to get banned potentially in the near future. But we'll talk about the ban list in a separate video. Alright guys, so we've gone over some of the pros for this deck. Now let's go ahead and go over some of the cons for Spright. Start off with the very first one. It's a little bit more juicy than you would expect. So actually, great power comes at a great cost. The great cost of Spright, or one of them I should say, is its very low attack points overall throughout the deck. Now that yes, there are plenty of ways to go ahead and elevate the attack points. You can get Gigantic Spright to I believe 6,400 attack points if you use a link 2 to go ahead and summon him, and you can combine it with Cat Shark to go ahead and boost the attack points. However, for the most part, you are still going to have lower attack points than your opponent. Now, how do you counteract it? Of course, multiple hand traps to go ahead and prevent your opponent from playing, along with the already interruptions you're already going to have, plus the resilience to go ahead and play through your opponent's board. Yes, but in the event someone can just make a really big monster, like I don't understand how Spright is ever going to beat what's it called? The Adagnister deck, the 6,000 attack point monster that can just the rival Adagnister that can if you make it with 6,000 attack points, it's gonna be extremely difficult for Spright to get over. Only if they're able to go into that combo. But again, I'm assuming Adagnister would have some ways to go ahead and combat that. And we'll see as far as that goes. If you guys want to go ahead and check out some specific Spright counters, go ahead and check out. Cards will be up here somewhere. Again, if I remember. Con number 2 for Spright is that it is almost laughably monster effect heavy. So what does it essentially mean? It means a card like Appaloosa, but with the Goddess, is detrimental to this deck. Yes, Spright duelists also are aware of this, so they're playing cards like Dark Lure No More in the main deck potentially. So be on the lookout for that as well. I would say that Solemn Judgment might be coming back, potentially to go ahead and counter these things. Maybe an anti-spell fragrance in the main deck for Spright as well. We'll see. I mean, there's a lot of things that can happen in the format here very soon. But what is undoubtedly a fact is that the main consistency for Spright is going to come primarily from the monster effects you're going to be activating and the heavy reliance on that normal summon. So essentially, Spright needs a level 2, rank 2, link 2 monster on the field in order to go ahead and combo off. If it does not have that, then the deck starts to slow down quite a bit. So if you were to, let's say, Bottomless Trap Hole, something that they would have on their field, their normal summon, that actually might be enough to go ahead and get rid of the whole board. Solemn Warning, I am thinking of Solemn Strike. Again, the Solemn package might be very huge here. Torrential Tribute, things that just immediately just get rid of something on your opponent's board. Attributed to the Doom, with which Ryan Yu is playing in the finals of the YCS, might actually be a very big card as well, not just for Sky Striker, but in general overall, guys. So be on the lookout for all of these cards moving forward. Now, the reason I say that as well, you are gonna want to be very careful what you are hitting with this, because like I said, Spright has a Spright starter in Spright Starter, or Spright Starter. So be on the lookout for that as well. As far as the any emergency teleport variants, they're gonna have that route. Chances are they're gonna have one of 6, which both cards are 3. One of 6 ways to go ahead and have an additional standard aside from a normal summon as well. So just be on the lookout for that. But for the most part, the deck itself, unless they have that already in their hand, then they're not going to have the capability of continuously extending for the deck. Next is going to be a more interesting one, guys. For the last con number 3 for Spright, the deck relies extremely heavily on it needs level 2, rank 2, or link 2 monsters in order to be able to function in general. So besides the normal summon reliance, if you are able to mess with the levels for Spright, then the deck just completely shuts off. I mean, there are so many cards that have level modulation that we just all thought were trash for the longest time until today. Or if you saw my previous video, which will be right here in the top right hand corner, for Spright counters, or top left hand corner, whatever corner it's in. If you have seen that video, you guys will know there's a really cool continuous trap card. Again, don't remember what it's called, but it's up here in the corner. Or I'll put it right here as well for you guys. Continuous trap card that decreases the levels of all your opponent's monsters by 1, and that completely messes Spright, just destroys the deck essentially, because it can't special summon. If it can't special summon, it can't search. If it can't search, it can't get more extenders, and if you can't get more extenders, then you have nothing to worry about, which is the deck is essentially a deck of extenders. So that is going to be a huge blow to Spright as well. So definitely be on the lookout. Go ahead and pick that card up if you have not done so already, unless you're going to be playing Spright, in which case I should also be making a tutorial video on, or not tutorial video, or how to, or which cards to pick up if you're going to be playing Spright. Go ahead and defend yourself. Make sure you guys are good to go. Like I said, Solemn Judgment is probably going to be, well, it's definitely going to be on there, and I would recommend going into game 2 if you're going first as a Spright duelist. I would recommend putting something like that in just to be safe, because if you get Dark Ruler Remord, you can't chain Spright Carrot and you can't chain Totally Awesome to it, so having that backup negation is going to come in clutch as well. But if you guys did enjoy, go ahead and let me know in the comment section down below, guys. I do love making these videos for you guys. If you guys do enjoy, go ahead and let me know down below, not necessarily in the comments, but make sure to leave a like and subscribe for more videos, guys. It's going to be a Spright week this week, most likely, with a little bit of tier elements sprinkled there towards the end, and then most likely next week will be a full tier elements week as well. But if you guys are interested in any other of the archetypes coming out of Power of the Elements, go ahead and let me know. Definitely in the comment section down below, and I'll get some more content out for you guys. But without further ado, guys, if you guys did enjoy, go ahead and smash the like, subscribe, comment, all the fun stuff, and I'll see you guys in the next one.